guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Faye, and for today's video, as you guys can see by the title, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a full face of Fenty Beauty. I'm going to be using a couple of products that I've already had in my collection, as well as sharing with you guys a couple of products that are new to the market, such as the Eaze Drop Foundation and also the Bright Fix Eye Illuminators. So yeah, I just wanted to jump on here with you guys and play in makeup a little bit, as well as try out a couple of new products and come up with a cute little bronzy summer beach vibe makeup tutorial. So I hope that you guys enjoy it. If you do, please let me know by giving it a big thumbs up, and feel free to click on the subscribe button down below if you would like to join my fam and be notified anytime that I upload new videos. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. Alright y'all, so let's go ahead and get into this look. The first thing that I'm going to do is apply some sunscreen. Today I'm going to be using this one from Tula. This is the Protect and Glow Daily Sunscreen with SPF 30. Lately, I've mostly been using my matte sunscreen from Peter Thomas Roth, but today I feel like my skin just needs a little extra moisture, and this one is like a glow sunscreen. So I'm doing a little 2-finger sunscreen trick that I saw online, and we're just going to apply this. I love the sunscreen because it doesn't smell like that typical sunscreen smell, and it also doesn't leave behind like that kind of weird residue or a white cast. And as you can see, it just gives your skin a really nice glow, and it just feels so much more moisturized. So yeah, I have super oily skin, but today it just felt like it needed a little something extra underneath all of the products that I'm going to apply, because as you guys already know, most of them are going to be matte. Alright, so we are going to start off with the eyes today, and the very first thing I'm going to do is just prep my lids with some concealer. You can use any concealer that you prefer. I typically like to use one that is a couple shades lighter than my skin tone, just so that it will kind of lighten my eye area, since as you can see it is a little bit darker. And I'm just going to blend this out with my DSMD sponge, which honestly is the best sponge on the market, period, right now. I have literally not touched my beauty blender since I got this sponge, and they're super inexpensive, so highly recommend. Okay, and then I also like to set my concealer down with a little bit of a matte powder, just so that it doesn't crease throughout the day. That's just my preference. You don't have to do that, but I'm going to. So whatever translucent powder you have and prefer, just kind of set down that crease if you have oily eyelids, just to keep everything in place and keep it from creasing. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into these Fenty products. So for my eyes, I'm going for something really basic, really chill, glowy, bronzy, you know, really simple. So I'm going to be dipping into these little Fenty snap shadows, I think is what they're called. So I have shades number 3 and number 9. I think I'm going to be dipping mostly into number 9, but this is what number 3 looks like. Really pretty shades. And then this is what number 9 looks like. So like I said, I think I'm mostly going to be dipping into number 9. So to start though, neither one of these really have a nice warm brown shade for the crease. So I'm going to go into my Fenty bronzer. I have mine in the shade Caramel Cutie, and we're just going to buff that back and forth into the crease as our transition shade. And the brush that I'm using for this is the Morphe E23. It's a nice full blending brush, and we're just buffing that back and forth. And as you can see, I'm not using any tape or anything on the outside of my lid like I normally do, because the goal of this look is really to be just nice and blown out and effortless. Okay, so now that we have our nice warm transition shade applied, I'm going to go into the number 9 palette. I think this one is actually called Wine, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look. Yeah, so number 9 is wine and number 3 is deep neutrals. I'll have everything linked for you guys down below, of course, as usual. But we're going to go into the shade number 9, and I'm going to be picking up this shade right here. And we're going to buff that back and forth into the crease just a little bit lower than the shade that we just applied. Okay, so this shade is coming out a little darker than I anticipated, as you can see. So I'm actually just focusing it mostly on the outer V. I am blending it a little bit into the crease just so that there's a nice smooth transition. But for the most part, I'm kind of just focusing it right on this outer portion of the outer V. Okay, so next up we're going to go in with a shimmer, and I'm using the kind of champagne rose gold shimmer in the number 9 palette, and I'm just going to pick that up on a flat shader brush and apply that to the inner half of my eyelid. Alright, so that is how that color looks. I didn't add any setting spray or anything like that, just straight out of the palette. Really pretty. So next I'm going to go in with this chocolate brown shade right here. And I'm going to use that in between the lid shade and the matte shade I applied on the outer lid, just to blend the two colors together. Alright, so that is how the eyes are looking so far. We're pretty much done with them because I don't want to do too much on the eyes. Like I said, I kind of want it to just be pretty basic. So also, I'm not going to do a wing on my eyes today either, but I am going to go in with a black eyeshadow. Neither of these palettes have a black in it, so I'm going to go in with my Mented Every Night eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to pick up the shade Brooklyn, which is this black. And I'm just going to apply that along my lash line to give us a nice soft liner look. Alright y'all, so I went ahead and applied my lashes off camera. I used these. These are the Eyelid times Nicole Guerrero. I don't know if you guys remember, but I used to be obsessed with these lashes. I still am, but I used to use these like literally every single time I did my makeup. And I decided to pull them back out. They're a really good lash, really affordable. You can get them from the drugstore. If I can find them, because I'm not sure if the vlogger series that they did, that Eyelid did, is still available, but if I can find them, I will link them for you. These were my favorite from that series of all of the vloggers that they collaborated with the exception of the Jordan Woods ones. Y'all know the Tropic Like It's Hot lashes are my absolute fave, but these are a very, very close second. So I went ahead and popped those on. I ran out of my Tropic Like It's Hot, so that's why, you know, we're having to do a different lash today, but it's all good. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start working on the face, and this is where the majority of all of my Fenty products are gonna start coming into play. So first up, I'm going to be trying out this Baby What It Do spray. I know this came out a while ago, but I have yet to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and use that to refresh my skin and prep it for foundation. The mist on this is so fine. It literally feels like there's nothing going on my face, but okay, so went ahead and sprayed that. And then next up, we're gonna go in with, y'all already know, my Fenty Pro Filter. This one is the matte primer. I do have both primers, and I kind of just bounce back and forth between both of them depending on my mood. But today we're gonna use the matte one. So my next two primers are not Fenty primers, but you guys already know, as an oily skin girl, I like to do a little concoction, and I cannot live without my Milk Hydro Grip. And I'm also going to be using a smoothing primer today. I'm using the Professional. So yeah, Fenty doesn't have any pore smoothing primers or anything similar to, well, let me not say that, because the matte Pro Filter primer actually is smoothing. But I just personally like to go in with a little something extra for my pores and the lines under my eyes. So that's what I'm using the Professional for, and also for my smile lines. I kind of just like to really fill those in. So if you don't have like significant areas that you want to fill in, you can skip this step because the matte Fenty primer, I have noticed, does do a really great job of smoothing the skin. But y'all know me, I'm extra. So I like to just go in with a little bit more. And then this right here, y'all already know. If you've been watching my videos, This is my holy grail. I never do my makeup without it. So yeah. Alright, so next up we're going to do a little bit of color correcting, and I'm actually going to be trying out 2 new products from Fenty, and it is the Bright Fixed Eye Brightener Illuminator. So I actually have 3 shades. I did purchase these myself, so you know, if Fenty wants to add your girl to the PR, they are more than welcome to do that. But in the meantime, all of the products I'm sharing with you guys I have purchased myself over the course of, you know, since Fenty has been out, and then also a couple, of course, like these and some of the others I'm going to show you I purchased recently. But like I said, I did pick up 3 shades. This is what they look like up close, and I have peach, almond butter, and honey. So I'm going to show you guys really quickly some swatches of the 3 shades. So the first one is in the shade peach. Actually, I'm just gonna put them all on my hand and then I'll show you guys. Okay, so here are the swatches of the shades. This first one over here is peach. The one next to it is honey, and then the darker one over here is in the shade almond butter. So that is what they look like. Okay, so I'm actually gonna just work right off of my hand to apply these, and I think I'm gonna mix a little bit of peach and almond butter, which is the color corrector in the darkest shade under my eye, just to color correct the darkness that I have underneath. So we're gonna do peach first, and then we're gonna add in a little bit of almond butter, and then I'm gonna go in with this Sigma Bake Precision brush, and I'm gonna use that to kind of blend it out underneath my eye. Okay, so now that I have it placed where I want it, I'm gonna go in with my sponge and just lightly tap it out. I don't want to take away too much of the product, so I'm just keeping it very light. Okay, and so that is what the under eyes are looking like. I'll put a side by side so that you guys can see the difference from how they look before to now. I should have just done one side so that you guys can see, but they are definitely much more brighter than they were before I applied the product. So yeah, it's definitely a very kind of natural, not overdone color correction or brightness that is done to the under eye. It's not anything that's going to be like super cakey or super like full coverage necessarily, but you can definitely see the difference in how the eyes looked before I applied the product. So next, actually, I'm going to go in with the shade Honey, which is the lighter one that was in the middle, and we'll just pop a little bit of that underneath and see if we're able to get a little bit more brightness in that area. And as you guys can see, I'm using a tapping motion to kind of just get the product where I want it. And then I do kind of let it just sit in that area for a few minutes before I blend it out, so that I can try to keep as much of the coverage as possible in that area. Okay, y'all, so my husband knows I'm filming and he just decided to cut the grass. So if y'all can hear that, I'm sorry. Hopefully it won't be too loud, but he literally just fired up the lawnmower like I'm not in here trying to film. But anyway, you guys can see now for sure how much brighter my under eye looks. And of course, like I said, I'm just lightly going in with my beauty sponge because I don't want to take away too much of that product underneath the eye. But I'm just using that to kind of blend it out a little bit, and we definitely got some brightness from that. So I'm here for these. Honestly, I think if you wanted a more kind of natural look, then you could just mix like the color corrector and the shade that's closer to your skin tone for under your eye. And then if you do actually want that brightening effect, then you can use a shade that's a little bit lighter. But I think honestly this looks really good underneath my eye. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into some stuff for the complexion. Okay, so if you watched my previous chit chat get ready with me video, you guys would have seen me use the Fenty skin tint, but I actually picked up another shade. So in that video I used the shade number 14, which I am still going to keep. I feel like 14 is kind of like my winter shade, but when I was in Sephora the other day, the I don't know what they call themselves, beauty advisor, yeah, I think beauty advisor, she told me that she would recommend that I go up a shade or two for the summertime, because if I get any darker than this, 14 is going to be too light, which I agree. So I actually picked up the shade number 16, and I feel like 16 actually matches me a little bit better, because one thing that I was noticing when I would see other people apply this product, it literally just looked like it just melted into their skin, like literally just like it was their own like skin color, and I wanted more of that look as opposed to the shade that I got. I felt like it didn't really melt into my skin until after I had like other products on, and I just wanted the option to be able to just put this on and it really melt into my skin. So I'm going to show you guys what the shade number 16 looks like. I could probably mix the two, but just for comparison purposes, I'm just going to show you what 16 looks like. So I'm just going to put it on, and you can see already, like I said, if you watched my other video, you'll probably remember that when I put on 14, it looked light when, like right whenever I applied it to the skin, whereas this one, it looks more like my actual complexion. So I'm gonna blend it out with this Morphe Y7, and you see how it literally is just like melting into my skin. It looks like the exact same color basically, and that's kind of what I wanted, because you know the whole point of this is to be kind of like a really lightweight, your skin but better kind of vibe, which the other one did give me, but the color was just a little bit off. So I went ahead and swapped it out, and I'm sure you guys will probably agree that this one just kind of complements my skin a little bit better. So for any of my foundation twins out there that have picked up this product, let me know what shade you picked up, or which one worked better for you. I am going to go in with a little bit more just on my cheek area, and I think what I may try today, which I didn't try in that other video, is in the areas where I need a little bit extra coverage. Well, I may not need to, because when I just applied that, it kind of gave me more coverage on my cheek area. So yeah, I was going to say I was going to go in with a little bit of concealer. Now, one thing I will say that I am noticing as I'm applying this is that the product that I put underneath my eye, it's kind of moving. Like if you can see right here, like it kind of moved when I went over it with the brush. So keep that in mind if you do apply the Bright Fix first. You want to try to make sure that you don't disturb it too much when you're applying, if you decide to apply any other products, because it did definitely kind of move a little bit. But yeah, this is how my skin is looking with shade number 16. I like it much better than 14. If you, like I said, if you didn't see that video, it was the chit chat get ready with me before this video where I was trying out a bunch of new products. So you can check that out if you want to see how shade 14 looked. It didn't look bad, and it did end up like matching me once I had everything else on my skin, but I just feel like this one, it just matches even before I put anything else on. So that is that. So next I'm going to go in with a little bit of concealer, and today I'm actually going to use my concealers from Fenty. I don't really reach for these that much, but we're going to use them today, honey. So I'm going to go in with the shade number 330. And am I going to go in with the shade 330? it's looking a little orange. So I may actually go in with the shade number 300. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna use 300, which is a little bit light, honestly, but I do want a little bit of a brightening effect happening under my eyes. And I think I'm just gonna mix that with a little bit of my Too Faced Sculpting Concealer in the shade Sand, just to like help it all melt together a little bit better and make sure that it's not too light underneath there. And I'm also gonna put sand underneath. Y'all, I'm sorry if y'all can hear my husband cutting their grass. Like, I really, if I had to really think about it, I am guessing he probably just didn't think about it. But my room, my filming room, is on the front of the house, and he's cutting the grass on the front of the house. Like, I don't know. But anyways, girl, I'm gonna let this sit for a second, and then I'm gonna blend it out, and then we're gonna go ahead and move on to our setting powder. All right, y'all, so now that we have the concealer blended out, we're going to go ahead and set everything using the Fenty Pro Filter Instant Retouch Setting Powder. I have two shades. I have the shade Banana in the big container, and I have Cashew in the smaller container. I think I'm actually gonna mix the two of these together. Because Banana is a little bit too yellow in my opinion, and I feel like Cashew is just a little too dark. So we're gonna just do a little concoction and use it to set underneath our eyes. Alright, so I went ahead and did an initial set. I do kind of feel like more of the Cashew shade picked up than the Banana. So now I'm just going to go in straight with the Banana powder and use that to kind of brighten up my under eyes a little bit. Alright, so we're going to let that just bake and marinate for a few minutes, and while it's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and fill in my brows, and then I will be right back. Alright, y'all, so my brows are on. I also went ahead and finished up my lower lash line. I didn't do anything special. I literally just used the shade that we use in our outer V from the number 9 palette. I just buffed it on my lower lash line with a pencil brush, added a brown liner in my waterline, and threw on some mascara. That's it. So let's go ahead and finish up this face. I'm going to start off by just dusting away this extra powder that we have on our face, which honestly really isn't much because I didn't really leave a whole lot there to bake. And then to set the rest of my face, I'm going in with this Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation. I have mine in the shade number 345. And we're just going to use that to set the perimeter of the face. Alright, so next up we're going to go ahead and do a little bronzing and contouring. You guys already know I'm going in with my Fenty Sunstalker bronzer in the shade Caramel Cutie. It's the same shade that we used in the crease of the eye in the beginning. And I'm just going to apply this on all of the areas that I would normally bronze and contour. Okay, so next up is blush. I don't have any blushes from Fenty. I believe the only blushes that I know of that they have are the cream blushes, and I did not purchase any of those. So I'm actually going to go in with this little trio that I have. I mentioned this to you guys in my recent Sephora haul. This is from Kaja, and it is their blush and bronzer trio. I have mine in the shade number 2, Cloud Latte, and it basically comes with a blush, a highlighter, and a bronzer. I've really been enjoying this, so I'm not going to use the whole little trio today. I'm just going to use the blush from the trio, since I don't have one from Fenty. And I'm just going to go in with my little angled blush brush and apply that right on the cheeks and blend it back into that bronzer. And you can see why I have been loving this blush. It gives such a beautiful, just pink flush to the cheeks, but it's not too much, and it's a really good color for my skin tone. These come in 3 different shades, by the way. Like I think one for light, one for medium, and one for darker complexions. And I have just been loving this. And of course it's perfect for travel because you get a little 3-in-1. The bronzer on the bottom, I will mention, is a cream. So if you're not into creams, then you know, I would not recommend. I haven't had a chance to try out the bronzer yet, but the blush and the highlighter, perfection. All right, so next up is highlighter. And actually before I go into my highlight, I'm going to set the face a little bit. And I guess I'll go back in with this makeup refreshing spray. It was giving very light misting for me earlier. I do like the mister, but I just feel like nothing's going on my face. I don't know. But I'm just gonna spray my face with a little bit more of this before we go in with our highlighter. I'm not mad at it. I just feel like, I don't know. I guess I'm just used to feeling the moisture on my face. So I'm just like, did anything go on? But, well, my face does look more refreshed though. So, listen. She's doing what she said she was going to do. So, I'll give her that. But it's a very, very, very light mist. Okay, so for highlighter today, I'm going in with the Killawatt highlighter in Afternoon Snack Mo Honey, and she looks like this. Very, very beautiful highlighter. One side is more of a soft highlight, and the other side is more of like a more intense glittery highlight. I'm actually just going to use the left side, which is the more kind of softer glow from within highlighter, because that's kind of the vibe for today's video. And I also kind of feel like people aren't really doing like the super intense highlight the way that we used to. I don't know if it's just me or, you know, I don't know. But that's kind of what I've been getting, is that people are kind of more into this kind of glow from within look as opposed to a super intense highlight. So I like that this gives you the option to do either one. So I'm actually going to go in with the more intense highlight side, and we'll use that to highlight the inner corner. Okay, so this look is coming right on together. So next is the lip. I guess next and last is the lip. And I think I want to go in with one of these. These are the, what are these called? Slip Shine lipsticks. These came out a couple of months ago, and I never really shared them on my channel. So I think I want to use one today. And I think I'm going to go in with, I don't know, glazed maybe. I kind of want to do something not too intense, just kind of real my lips, but better, kind of natural, that would complement the eye. So I'm debating between glaze and makeup break. Let's do glaze. I think this will look pretty, especially underneath a lip liner. So I am going to line my lips. I'm going to use my ColourPop BFF3 lip liner to line and kind of fill in my lips. Alright, so I got my lips lined, got my Slip Shine. Again, I'm going in with glazed, and we're just going to pop that right on top of the lip liner. Okay, so this is how the face is looking. I really like it. I kind of wanted a little more, something a little more pinky, not quite so brown on the lip. Let's see, maybe I could add one of these glosses. I have these little mini Fenty glosses from the holiday set, and I have this one in the shade Taffy Tease. So maybe I'll add a little bit of this. Ooh, this smells so good. It's not really changing the color. It's just kind of giving me a little gloss, which is fine. A lot of gloss, but it's fine. We'll just leave the lip as it is. We got a glossy lip going, little bronzy summer eye happening. I kind of wanted it to be a little more natural, but I feel like every time I try to do a natural eye, it always comes out a little more smoky. But I'm not mad at it. She's cute. So this is our little Fenty face. So I'm gonna go ahead and you know, try to do a little something with my hair, and then I will come back to give y'all the final look and my final thoughts on the products that I use in today's video. Alright, you guys, so this is the finished look. I ended up just pinning my hair back because, in all honesty, it needs to be washed and it just wasn't cooperating. So I just pinned it back, and this is what we're working with, you guys. I really love the way that the makeup turned out. It's giving very effortless. To me, this is natural. Now, for some of y'all, it may be a lot. But for me, I do have problem areas on my skin that I need to cover. So I live for the day that I can just wake up in the morning and throw on a little tinted moisturizer and be good to go. But to me, I just feel like it looks better and I feel better if I'm gonna, you know, take the time to put makeup on my face, that I actually have a little bit of coverage, especially on my cheek area. You can still kind of see some of my darkness peeking through. But for the most part, it's giving a little bit of coverage. It's still super lightweight. It wasn't, you know, a ton of like cakey products on the skin. Everything is feeling very light, and you know, my skin literally doesn't really feel like it has anything on it. But I still feel like I look put together. So this is what we're working with. Whole little Fenty beat, at least with all of the products that I had that I could use. I did really enjoy these shadows. I can't believe that I have waited so long to try these. I've had the number 3 palette for a while. I just have never actually used it. And I think it's the number 7 that I want to pick up. So let me know if you guys have any favorites in these palettes, because I think I want to pick up like 2 more so I can have 2 sets. But I did really enjoy this. I didn't use any setting spray or anything on my eyes, and it gave really nice, blendable, smooth pigmentation. So these definitely get a thumbs up from me. I, of course, love the Slip Shine lipsticks. I really need to incorporate them into my routine more because they're very moisturizing on the lips and definitely perfect for summer, especially now that hopefully we're getting closer to not having to wear masks anymore. We can get those glossy lips back popping. So definitely enjoyed that. And then of course the stars of the show, the Eaze Drop and these new Bright Fix eye brighteners. I really did enjoy these. This video was not my first time using either of these 2 products. Like I said, you guys saw me use the Eaze Drop. I do really like shade 16 a lot better. I feel like it just complements my complexion and my undertones a lot better. So if you are my foundation twin, I would recommend 14 as like a winter shade and 16 definitely for like a summer shade. Of course, if I get darker, I'm not sure if 16 will still work for me, but as of right now, I do feel like it matches me a lot better than shade 14 did when I used it a couple of weeks ago. And then for these, I've actually, today's video I think was the 3rd or 4th time that I've used these, and I feel like today was the day that I kind of figured it out. The first 2 times that I used it, I was thinking I wasn't going to like these and that they were going to end up going back to the store. But I am glad that I took a little bit of time to play with them and test them out before I showed them to you guys on camera, because I feel like if I had showed you how I applied them the first time I used them, it wouldn't have been a very accurate representation of what these products are capable of. So if you are interested in these, or if you have them and you've been using them and maybe they're not working amazingly for you, what I would recommend is placing the product where you want it. Let it sit for a little bit before you blend it out, especially if you have a lot to cover. Like for me, I do have darkness under my eyes that I did really want to correct. So I feel like letting it sit for a little bit before blending it out gave me a lot more coverage compared to the first time that I tried it. I just applied it and blended it out like with my finger, like I had seen other people do in videos, and it literally just kind of was like a moisturizer. So yeah, if you want a little bit more coverage, apply it. Maybe mix it in like you guys saw me do the color corrector and a shade closer to your skin tone, or a brightening shade if you want to brighten. You can mix the two of them together, apply them under your eye, let them sit a little bit, and then blend them out. I feel like I got better coverage that way. And in the future, I think I would actually use these after I apply whatever complexion product that I'm applying, whether that be a skin tint or a foundation. I would apply these on top before my concealer, because as you guys saw in the video, when I went on top of them with the Eaze drop and I was blending it out with my brush, it did kind of lift the product a little bit. So just a couple of tips. I do think that these are really good. You kind of just have to figure out the best way to apply them that works for you based on what you're trying to accomplish with them. So for me, I was trying to accomplish some color correction, some brightening, and the way that I applied it in this video, I think I got the best results out of all of the times that I've used them so far. So I would definitely continue using these. I will definitely continue using my skin tint. I have been loving it. And a lot of the other products that I shared with you guys from Fenty, I have shared in previous videos, and there wasn't really anything that I used that I didn't like. I thoroughly enjoyed every single thing that I put on my face today, and I just think it came out really good. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up to let me know, and also help to get my video out to more people that may be interested in seeing a full face of Fenty. If you're new to my channel, I would love to have you as part of the fam. So before you head out, if you haven't already, definitely be sure to click on that subscribe button down below. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video.